Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want you to take a good look at my eye makeup. I hope you can see it really well. I was very happy with this. Today I'm doing a very rare daytime video. It's actually 4:52 in the afternoon. Today's look, I actually used two palettes, both Zodiacs, the original Zodiac and the Zodiac Love Signs from BH Cosmetics. Now, one of my pet peeves with so many palettes is a palette can be really fun to play with and you can get a lot of looks from it, but most palettes I find have something missing. And I thought that when B&H came up with the brand new variety of Zodiac, and they call it Love Signs, it kind of made up for the shortcomings of the other palette. That said, I still used an additional color to prep my eyes with. I decided to break out one of my Color Magic eyeshadow palettes because the one thing I liked about both the Color Magics is they have really pale shades for the lightest among us that we can use to prepare our eyelids for the rest of the colors so that it's easier to blend them. So today's going to be a little bit more complicated than a lot of my eye looks, and I'm also doing it early today because I'm afraid that if I were to wait until after I went to a club and came home, it would have faded too much and it would have been harder to replicate. So, okay, let's get started. Oh, but before we do, let me show you side by side what both these Zodiac palettes look like. So you can see, in fact, that they do complement each other. And one of the things I love about this palette is the original has all these matte purples, and of course purple's my favorite color. But the new palette, the Zodiac Love Signs palette, has a real pretty fuchsia color that is a frosty shimmery color, and you've got a hot pink, almost fuchsia matte color, and it has a couple of different golds, and I really love the teals in it. So I really think they complement each other. Okay, well, I got my trusty coconut oil out, but I also have to tie up my hair. And don't you know, oh, here it is. Here's my thing. And you know, my cats, I'm so proud of them. I'd heard that they were both on one of my roommates' bed the other night. And I also heard that my roommate got them to be good and share a chair together. Well, I'm the kind of person that likes to see things when I believe it. And a couple of hours ago in my room, Tabby Boy was up on the little bed where Cassie is now. I'm showing you. See? Well, Tabby Boy was on that bed. She jumped onto the same lid that the box is on. That's on. And Cassie hissed at her some, but he stood his ground. And they both stayed on there for almost 5 minutes. As soon as she got up on there, I turned the camera on and I made a little video, but I made it only for Facebook because I didn't frankly think it was good enough for YouTube. I didn't have my usual intro. I don't have the editing skills to put that sort of thing together. And also, I really didn't think most people would have the patience to sit through to wait to see if something was going to happen. So, okay, got my bare hand. Oh, I screwed up. Oh my goodness. Look at me. I screwed up. I intended to use these antibacterial wipes first. Now, you know, I'd say I contaminated that whole jar. But guess what? It's down to the last, not even quarter cup anyway. So it's really important to practice sanitary things when you get your hand in makeup and all kinds of things. And there I am fiddling around with the cats, and you know cats aren't the most sanitary creatures. I mean, we like to say how clean cats are, but come on, let's be honest. Kitties do make messes, and they do spread germs, and you've got to clean up after them. So anyway, my usual format, take off this part. I'm going to try not to screw up like I did the last time, and actually, remember the last time I did this, I took off the eyebrows too. And that just adds extra time to these tutorials. I don't think is valuable. I don't know that it's really teaching anybody anything, and I think it just takes up more time. And, you know, I know that you guys can have a lot of ways that you could spend your time, and the fact that any of you are spending a little bit of your time watching my videos, I don't take it for granted. I really appreciate it. I love today's look so much, I just thought I would share it with you. Because I get really disappointed, and I feel bad sometimes when I get a palette and I had it for a while, and I feel a little disappointed because I think that it's just not perfect enough. And considering the money that we spend on these things, you know, I haven't gotten to the point in my YouTube journey where I have companies sending me stuff for PR and stuff. I buy what I use. And, of course, by FTC rules, I have to let you guys know otherwise. So, yeah, I'm spending my money on stuff, so I expect to get good use out of it. And if I don't totally love something, I still try to use it up, and I feel really bad if I'm disappointed in things, you know? Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is put my eye coat on, and of course I put things back. I use two things for my foundation. I'm using up my Sassy and Chic BB cream. As you can see, when I have a hard time getting out the rest of the product, what I do is I cut the tube in half, and a great way to store it when, say, I have everything out of this end, but the rest of it's in this end, I have it cut in half. I fold this, and I put it over here. And that's how I store my cut up foundation things. So now that my hand is sufficiently sterilized, now mostly that's what I used for my face, was that Sassy and Chic BB cream. And I went ahead and I put it all over, including my lids. And then to really coat and prime my lids, I use the e.l.f. Complete Coverage Concealer. And at first I use the lightest one because that's the one that truly matches my skin. But as I'm using that up more, if I'm going to be covering something up all the way, then I'll go ahead and use something darker because I know that it'll be covered up completely. But it's important for my pale people, and this applies only to the palest people. If you're in a situation where you have a palette like this and only the lightest one matches you, then I strongly suggest that you always use that for the part of your eyebrows that's closest to, your eyelid that's closest to your eyebrow. That way, when you cover with everything else, at least you have some skin that shows and it is light enough to be believable. Otherwise, you could end up with something that's too dark, and it's not going to be flattering if it's right underneath and touching your eyebrow. Sometimes, we learn things from experience, and it's much harder to lighten up something that's too dark than it is to darken up something that's too light. Okay, now, I didn't used to do this, but occasionally I find myself doing this. Okay, this is my trusty, what I'm using to hold my brushes. Now, the eyeliner that I had on this fell. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't fall too far. It's actually behind my computer. So I have to, there. Okay. I have to be careful how I handle my computer because the connection to the cord is very loose. And since it doesn't hold a battery charge, and the only way that I can get this battery to recharge is to actually shut it down when it's plugged in, and since I'm almost always using my computer for something, including work, and I work in my sleep, and I mean that literally, so I rarely shut down, so I really want to preserve my battery power, bottom line. Okay, and I'm referencing my show notes just because this is such an elaborate pattern. Okay, where did I just set that down? Oh, okay. I told you that I also used the Color Magic palette. And I like these little palettes because they have very pale shades in them that you can use for all over. And in fact, that's what I did. I got this nice big blush That is a Wet n Wild brush. That they call it a crease brush, but I think is really too full to be a crease brush. And I'm dipping this into the palest color. Oh, yeah. Dipping it into the palest color. Now I really want to get a mirror, because the mirrors in these palettes are so small, they're really not good enough. I'm going to concentrate on the brow bone, being careful not to cover the eyebrows, obviously. I'm going down all over, almost to the lid. I want to keep a little bit of the lid still tacky, because that's where I want the color to show up the most vivid. Now I'm going to go back into this little color. These palettes are so nice and lightweight. I would recommend having, for my pale girls, I would recommend having one of these in with your travel makeup, even if you have some other palettes, just so that you have this pale shade. Now, another thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to, since I already put foundation underneath my eyelid, I'm going to sweep some of this underneath my eye. Again, this is only for the palest people that I would recommend this, since this is basically an off-white powder. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that as I apply the powder shadows, you get your little crumblies and fallouts. It'll make it so much easier to clean it up if you do that. But that only would work for the palest people, because if you're too dark, that's going to look ghostly. And because this is not a translucent powder, this is actually a shadow, it'll be harder to wipe from underneath your eyes. So, yeah. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dip into the new Zodiac Love Signs palette. And we're going to go and have at this beautiful matte, hot pinky color. And it's under the, oh my goodness, did you just see that? The eyeshadow brush just fell from this lid. Well, you know what? I'm not going to touch it to my eyes. It's been on this floor. So I'm going to set this down. And I'm going to dig through my brushes, and I'm going to find another brush that's roughly the same shape. And that's where this is going to take a little bit of time, because I want a similar shape. And you know what? It's going to be hard to find a shape that size. This is the closest I could come to it, because this one here is a C brush and this is too thin. So I guess it's going to be this brush here. Going to dip into this fuchsia color that's the right next to the Aries. So it's along, okay, there's a frosty pale pink that's Aries, and I guess this is the fuchsia Aries matte. Dip this into this. Because this brush is so big and fluffy, you're only tapping it each side, because you don't want a bunch of fallout from what I'm about to do, since I didn't know I was going to have to use this big fluffy brush. Okay, I'm going to concentrate it just in the crease. And I'll take it from the crease. I'll blend a little bit. Take it from the crease just about to the lid, but kind of avoiding the corner here. I want to get some more into the pink. See, the shape of the brush really has changed things, because the other brush that I used was not fluffy like this. Okay, I don't want to really touch the lid here, but I want to get, I don't want to touch the lash line. I want to leave space here. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of the new brushes that I got from BH Cosmetics. That is called the I7 or L7. And this has got to be one of my favorite brushes. I think, matter of fact, I believe I'm going to order some more of these. I'm going to wait till they go on sale, though. The sale I got on this was only like 15%, or maybe it was 25%, but I want to wait for like a half price sale or something, because I really would rather pay less for my brushes. And most of my brushes were frankly dollar store brushes, but I really, really like this a lot. I think this was $1.80 maybe, or maybe it was $2.40. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm going to dip this into this beautiful, bright, metallic fuchsia purpley shade called Gemini. And then get a nice load on the brush and tap it off a little bit. Then I'm going to pretty much go where I was, but especially below the crease onto the lid. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to avoid the corner, really. I would touch it a little bit to the corner, but I'm going to avoid corner kind of. I'm going to go this far. And you could see how that's very similar to the fuchsia shade that we had just applied the matte, but this is shiny. I'm trying to avoid the problem I've been having, the shiny shadows coming up because of friction onto my eyelid where it sags kind of up by the brow bone. I'm so tired of that happening. That's another reason why I wanted to do this tutorial or earlier rather than later. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, oh, I should apply that gold. Okay, in the new Zodiac Love Signs palette, there's a real pretty gold. There's two golds technically, but one's a darker one. We don't want the darker one that's called Leo. We want the lighter one called Cancer. And this is the brush that I'm using. And we're going to dip this carefully into both sides. We're going to kind of tap and push it on. That's another way to not get too much fallout on a brush. Using the previously done eye as a guide, I'm going to start right in the corner and sweep, wiggle it kind of. Wiggling is a really good technique. I think it causes less fallout than sweeping. I'm going to keep it as close to the lash line as possible and only go almost to where your pupil would be. That's a fairly good guideline. But the important thing is if you've already done one side of the eye to make the other match, obviously. I hope this... If you have to, get some more. You know what? Let me close my door in case there's any noise from roommates. We don't want that. Okay. Now, okay. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to dip into the original Zodiac palette, which is this one. And they have some great matte purples. And we are going to dip into, not the one I hit pan on, but the lighter of the matte purples. This is the lightest matte purple, and this brush I'm using is a two-sided brush that I think I got from Avon. One side is supposed to be for like an eyeliner, and the other is both, it will blend and it will deposit color. And in the lightest of the matte purples, that seems to correspond to the Frosty Gemini color. Going to take this, and we're going to ignore the ghetto sounds behind me, outside, and we're going to follow right above where the eyeshadow is up here. And I'm going to tap, 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 and then sweep. You don't want, whatever you do, you don't want to take too much lid space above it. Just want to sweep back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know what? There's a lot on this brush, and I'm not a fan of getting out other brushes just to blend. But you know, we're having a problem with somebody talking too loud outside, and I'm this close to whipping out my window and asking them to be quiet. But I don't know if that's going to help. And getting into a shouting match is not going to be good. Okay, now I'm having a little bit of a hard time blending this. So I apologize if you hear a sound of a drug deal out my window, but where I live, it's very, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to take that original brush that I used to use that off-white color. This is from the color Magic. Now, you could use any other pale flesh tone color, assuming, of course, you're pale like me. We all know the flesh tone means whatever flesh matches your tone. Gonna just try to blend out that purple that lavender I just put. Sometimes you can rub it up against your own hand. So blend it out. Blending and blending. This is sometimes what takes up a lot of time in other people's tutorials. Okay. You know, when it's just about blended but not quite, then what I like to do is I like to go back to where my other colors are, like the hot pink matte, for instance. But since I have a bigger, fluffier brush, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to apply any more, and I'm going to refresh your memory as to what I'm referring to. This matte pink here, but there's still a lot on the brush. I'm just going to go back over that and maybe go over a little bit of that lavender that I had just applied, just so that, to make sure that it matches more this side here. Sweep, sweep, sweep. This will enable that to blend a little bit more. Okay, and now we're going to go back with this brush that I like so much, back into the Gemini, and this time I will add some more, tap some, and I will go back over. And this time I'm going to check for how well it matches the other side. And I'm going to sweep, sweep, sweep. Okay, now I've got this brush here that I know I got. This is a Vivace brush that I got from the dollar store. And I'm going to dip into the original Zodiac palette. And in the original Zodiac palette, they have all these matte purples. And I'm going to use the darkest plum. And I'm going to dip. This is a real interesting brush. It seems to be mostly for depositing color, but it'll deposit and it'll sweep color. And it's got a real interesting taper that kind of makes it a little bit of a challenge to clean. You really have to go over it with soap a lot to get the color out of these brushes. Now with this, you're only going to use this to go up kind of just a little angle like this. It just gives that welcome little spot of darkening. And if you need a little bit more, this is the color I'm talking about. See this plum kind of color? I just want to darken this corner some. If you want, you could do a little bit of a V, but it's really mostly here. Mostly here. And then you know what? Take the same brush, carry it just under your eyelid. And try not to go too far over here because you don't want to cover up the gold that you'd applied. And you know what? Now I see some crumblies and I see where I am smudged. And you think I can find something to clean it up? Well, besides tissue, which hopefully won't smear it all to hell. Yeah. And I could see some smudgies on the other side from the mascara. Gotta love that. Okay, time for eyeliner. And I set that eyeliner down so that I wouldn't have to dig. Oh, if you're wondering what my eyebrow color is, it is the BH Cosmetics liquid lipstick, and this color is called Black Cherry. I used up the Blackberry, which was a much more of a plum color. And these things, I notice when you buy these new, use them up and use them fast because they will dry out in your tube quickly. And after that, when you're really too thick to really use as an effective lip color, for my purple hair girls, my fuchsia, or guys, my fuchsia haired people, whatever, if you have hair color that's anywhere close to these, they can double as your eyebrow color. And it's really nice and it won't smudge. And you could walk home in a snowstorm and a rainstorm. You can swim in them. This stuff is really nice and indelible until you're ready to take it off with an oil like this. So this is your swim-proof eyebrows right here. Now, I gotta find the darn eyeliner that I just set down. And oh, is that it? No. Darn it. Bear with me, folks. I don't want to have to use a different eyeliner than the one that I have on here. But I don't remember dropping it. Let me see if it's underneath here. No. Oh, gotta love live YouTube. Live, unedited YouTube. And I'd like to know where the hell my eyeliner is. Okay. Well, you know what? we here know to improvise. If you got to do a different eyeliner, you do a different eyeliner. Excuse me for the crinkling. Got to find a black eyeliner. Okay, here we go. I could not find that eyeliner that I wanted to use, so now I guess I'm going to have to dip into my really waterproof. This is a L'Oreal Infallible Lacquer Liner 24-hour waterproof, and it comes into a jar, a pot like this. And even though that's not the eyeliner that I'm using on here, I have to go and find, and now I've got to find a brush for it. Oh, here it is. This is a brush that came with it, and it's a cute little brush, and it dips into, now these are really important to keep the jars sealed when you're not using them so they don't dry out, because it was an investment. I think it was like close to $10 when I bought this, which you guys who are used to paying money for high-end products might scoff at this, but that's a lot of money for me. But this stuff is honestly really waterproof. Now, I don't want to cover up all this eyeshadow I have on here, so I want to do as thin a line as possible. Oh, God. You hear those drug dealers out my window? I'm telling you. If you've been watching my channel, do you remember the time they were in my garden and I couldn't get them to go? They're crazy. All right. Now, oh, and you want to see what I'm using to hold my lipsticks? These are from a package of cookies. I just used a plastic liner for them. They're real great makeup caddies. Now, you think I could find the mascara that I had set aside for this? I mean, I am so prepared. I always set everything out before I film. I try to be, it's not trying to be organized. I am. I have everything laid out. Everything's set here, and shit happens. Okay, so I'm not using the same mascara that I use on this side. Now I'm breaking out my very favorite of the mascaras that I have open. This is by BH Cosmetics. This is called their Fierce Volume Extreme Mascara. And I bought it this one time. Look at this brush. They have not sold it since. I don't know why. I am very happy with it. It's not a waterproof formula, and it doesn't make itself out to be, but it has a really great shaped brush, and it really grabs lashes, and it makes something out of nothing, and it doesn't really come off on my lids when I'm applying them, and the shape of the end helps you to grab onto and color even the lower lashes. You watch, I'm brushing this so far. This is how you get smudged. But I haven't used this mascara too much because I kind of like to save it for when I go out special places, because I don't know how I'm going to be able to get any more unless I happen to see it if there are places that sell B&H cosmetics that are actually brick and mortar stores. But I buy B&H from bhcosmetics.com because that way you get the free shipping, and sometimes they throw things in with your purchases, and I'm awaiting a shipment right now, but with the way I have notoriously slow mail service, I don't know when that's going to happen. Okay. Oh, I have to talk to you about what I have on my cheeks. All right. For my cheeks, first of all, I also used a, this is my contour that I usually use. This is from CoverGirl. It's a professional eye enhancers, and the color is called Jammin Improvisation. And you can see it's a plum matte color. And I just did a slash here and a slash here, and I blended them. But you don't want to blend too far in. And then for my cheek color, this is the B&H Cosmetics eyeshadow and blush palette. And I actually use this hot pink color here. And this is the brush that I used. And I didn't bring it down like this. I kept it kind of high on the cheek like this. And for my highlighter, I used the BH Cosmetics Blacklight Highlight. I love the hell out of this palette. I love it so much that I got a backup palette that they actually sent me once. It was a gift with purchase once. I used this pink shade here. It's called On Point. And it's a really, I like it so much. Let me show you what it looks like when you put it on. This is, if you could see this. Look at this. Does that show up? So pretty. So that is my highlighter here, a little bit of the Cupid's bow, a little bit here and here. And let me show you my lipstick. Aha, I found that, by the way, I found the mascara that I was looking for. The mascara that's on this eye is the Wet n Wild Megaplump, which is okay. It's not terrible, but it's not great, but I'm using it to use it up. You kind of have to put a lot on to really see anything. But this is a lipstick I'm using. This is something I ordered recently. This is a B&H Cosmetics liquid lipstick. It was on my list for a long time, but I was waiting for it to go on sale. It retails for $9, which I think is kind of too much. I got it half price for $4.50. And the color is called, oh God, I don't know. Hold on. Hold on. See, I'd rather use a magnifying glass. I can't find that, so now I'm using these. This color is called Lucinda. Hey, yeah, from the Paralyzed Veterans of America. That's where these glasses came from. Anyway, that's the lip color. That's the look I got from the 2 Zodiac palettes. Sometimes it takes more. Oh, there's another place I could do with that highlighter. Oh, yeah. How can I screw up? How can I forget that? Hold on. One more thing. Okay, where did I put that damn palette? I have so many palettes on my desk, it isn't even funny. Where did I put it? Oh, boy. Okay. This is insane. I wanted to do one more thing with that highlighter palette, and I can't find it. Or, oh, here it is. One more thing you can do with a highlighter like this when you have a dress like this. Oh, by the way, did you get a good look at this dress? Check it out. Do you like it? Now, I want to show you something that you can do with this highlight powder and a dress like this. Taking the same color I used, this pink, and then you can go right where, you know what, I'm going to have to use a decent mirror for this. Up, and I dropped that. Okay, get a decent mirror and find your collarbone. You see what I'm doing? See? Now, if you wanted to, you could use a lighter color and put it here and here. If you wanted to, you could use one of those blush colors from the Chic palette, and you could stick some in the middle here, and you could accentuate if you wanted to do that. Different things you could do with this makeup. Okay, if you liked this look, if you liked these 2 palettes, I really do think they're quite complimentary. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you do, hit that bell notification and hit it so that you get all my posts, because there's 2 options now. YouTube makes it so that you can get either only some of my posts, But if you make sure to hit that bell so that you get everything, you're notified of everything I post. I post 3 new videos a week for your viewing pleasure. I'd love to have you join my adventures. Till then, me and Cassie and Tabby Boy, who's gone on down the road, say, talk to you soon. Bye.